this often? How about fallacies? Yay, I love fallacies. They're my favorite things because they make me pucker. There are countless fallacies. I love talking about fallacies because so many people still hold these because they're taught by other people that it's true, kind of like unicorns and other nonsense that doesn't exist, like leprechauns. Random list of camera fallacies. What about, like, cleaning your sensors is dangerous. You, like, need to send that off. You believe that, and, like, most people tell you that? You don't clean your sensor? Cleaning your sensor is really easy, and if you follow, like, 3 or 4 steps, I made, like, 6 videos on cleaning your sensors. Everybody should learn how to clean their own damn sensors. Not only will it save you a ton of money, you should be doing it anyway. I know your sensor's dirty. You're like, oh, my sensor's dirty, but I don't want to send it off because it'll be gone for 2 weeks. Learn to clean your own sensor. Stop being afraid. When you touch it, you're not actually ever touching your sensor. There's a lot of cover glass over top of the actual sensor. Unless you do something really stupid, like that guy. That guy on those YouTube videos where he goes, and he reaches in. It's like, what an idiot. Oh my God. That's funny. That's a bad way to do it. Bigger sensors gather more light. How many videos have I made about bigger sensors gathering light? Bigger sensors don't gather more light. Sure it does. Like larger picture window lets in more light. Exposure is per unit area, not per total area. What one photo site up here captures, whether it's specular, midtone, or shadow, doesn't give a damn about what another photo site down here or area photo sites get. It's not like a solar cell. Larger solar cells, create more charge, create more electricity. But a solar cell is only capturing one thing: power. Your camera sensor is not like a solar cell on your roof. Like, well, the bigger it is, the more electricity you're going to generate. That's true. Your camera sensor, however, doesn't operate like that. Your camera sensor has millions and millions of little photo sites that capture little points of light: specular, midtones, shadows, and nothing, blackness. And it's all off the electrical. Your sensor does not work off of total light. No sensor on Earth, digital sensor, works off of total light, okay? Another notion that has been promulgated by a couple of YouTube knuckleheads is that FX sensors are a bad idea on DX cameras. This is hogwash, BS, nonsense, poppycock, idiocy, stupidity, rubbish, twaddle. It's BS. The notion of using full-frame lenses on DX crop sensors as being a no-no or a bad idea or not so good. It's stupid. Stupid. Not only that, the DX crop sensor takes the best part of the circle of projection of an FX lens's light projection. So it's kind of like cutting the crust off the bread. You get your sandwich, you cut the crust off, which is the crappy part. Yeah, FX lenses on DX cameras is... There's a reason, and I keep hearing people say really, really stupid stuff. They say, well, God, I wish Nikon would make more DX lenses. Nikon knows what they're doing. Nikon should not be making more DX lenses. Well, the percentage of lenses is like 2% DX lenses, well, a little higher than that. 2% to full-frame lenses. 2% versus 98% of the total spectrum of Nikon. There's a reason why it's that way. There's no damn reason, except in very few cases, to make a DX lens. It's just not. Just not. In the notion, another fallacy, ISO has any connection to exposure. It's not film anymore. ISO has no connection to exposure. If you don't believe me, just type in ISO invariance. Okay? Search that ISO invariance. Yeah. The exposure bill. So ISO is part of the exposure triangle. I'm supposed to be in the Illuminati, so I'm supposed to go like this. ISO is not part of the exposure triangle. What is the exposure triangle? That would be gain in time, i.e. aperture and shutter speed, and SNR, signal to noise ratio. This is why you should ETTR, exposed to the right, for maximum saturation of your sensor. But of course it depends on how you want to expose it. If you just want to expose for the highlights, however the hell you want to expose it, as long as that was what you intend to do, that's fine. But ISO is not connected to exposure. No, no, no. People argue with it. Yeah, it is. ISO is part of the exposure triangle. Digital photography, no, it's not. ISO is applied gain. ISO lets you manipulate true exposure, i.e. Gain in time, i.e. aperture and shutter speed. But ISO is not exposure. Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's the other one. Really stupid. Everybody believes this nonsense. I hear it all the time. Like, well, if I stick a 100mm lens, like on my DX crop sensor, it becomes 150mm and it has more reach. Nope. No, 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 no. No. Like, for example, give me anything. I'm just giving 100mm as an example. Or people will say, well, I stick a 300mm lens on my DX crop sensor. It becomes 450mm. No, what it actually has is a 450mm field of view, but it is in no way 450. There is no magnification going on. Every lens on Earth, period, without exception, craps out the same light out of its rear element, irregardless of the size of the sensors underneath it. A crop is a crop is a crop is a crop, and a crop is only a crop. Okay, you get no magnification or reach or like zoom or it's like, yeah, man, I stick that 100mm on my crop sensor, I'm going to have a 150mm lens. No, you're not. You're going to have a 100mm lens image projection that's going to be cropped to a field of view of 150mm. Yeah. So your 100mm lens will have a field of view of 150mm, but it will still be a projection of a 100mm lens because every lens craps the same light out of its rear element, regardless of the sensor that's underneath it. Is that abundantly clear? I hope that's abundantly clear. Yeah. Cleaning your sensor. Yeah. By the way, TTL photography, TTL flash photography. You know why professional studio strobes, at least the really good ones, don't have TTL on them? Is because professionals don't need TTL photography. TTL is like program mode, or puss mode as I called it. Program mode. I stick my camera in program mode. Yeah, there we go. Automatic everything. I'm just going to hit the shutter release button. Boom! It's all automatic. TTL photography is the speed light or studio strobe. Well, studio strobes don't have. Some do now. More and more of them do, but that's because people are more and more lazy and stupid. Let me emphasize that word again. Stupid. A lot more studio strobes now have TTL flash capability options, especially with wireless triggers, but TTL photography is douchebag photography. Now, TTL is important for a few things. Photojournalism, wedding events, not the wedding itself, okay, the wedding event where everybody's dancing and getting drunk and stupid and grabbing each other's crotches, you know, that sort of photography. Photojournalism, paparazzis, wedding receptions, close-in sports. TTL on that stuff is important and useful, but everything else don't need TTL flash photography. Nope. Events, like if you're shooting events, you know, where you gotta hit it. Yep. I shoot everything on events, by the way, in manual mode. Everything is shot manually. Don't need TTL. TTL is program mode. Every time, I need TTL flash photography. Where can I get a TTL unit for my so-and-so? I need TTL. You don't need TTL. It's like, are you shooting wedding reception? No. Are you shooting photojournalism? No. And then why do you think you need TTL? You need to break your habit. TTL speedlights, by the way, cost a ton more than a regular speedlight. Oh, a ton more. Typically, it's a ratio of like 5 to 1. The average is like usually around about, it's actually usually higher than that, like a Nikon, Fuji speedlights, 5 to 1. In other words, you could buy 5 normal speedlights that'll do just as good, but won't do TTL, as opposed to 1 TTL speedlight. The average on the better speedlights is higher. It's about 6 to 1. So in other words, you get 1 that will do TTL, or you can buy 5 or 6 that will do the exact same power, the exact same thing, except for TTL. Auto mode is 95% as good as TTL. It uses an actual sensor on the front of the speedlight to quench the flash when a certain reflectance is actually met and the flash is quenched. Whew. So that's another thing people need to like free themselves of. Is like, what about TTL? TTL. I need to like make a parrot that like talks about TTL. I got a parrot that just says, how sharp is it? I need a parrot that's called TTL. It goes, TTL, where can I get a TTL? You don't need TTL. TTL. You don't need TTL unless you're doing photojournalism, wedding receptions, paparazzi, a few other things like event photography. You don't even need it for event photography, especially if all your shots are the same distance. You don't need it then either. But if the distance are rapidly changing, TTL photography is incredibly handy for event photography. But most people are not shooting those types of photography. A lot of people are, but I mean, most people that buy speedlights, could you be using it for that? No. Then you don't need to be wasting all that damn money on a TTL speedlight. Well, why? Well, they're handy, but it also makes you lazy and stupid, and you never learn true flash photography. There's a reason why studio strobes like this, like, well, why don't Posse Buff units do TTL? Because nobody needs TTL. You're using a studio strobe, it means you're doing some professional work, and you don't need TTL. You don't need any of that crap. You just don't. So there's some of the nonsense things people believe. Bigger sensors gather more light. FX sensors are a bad idea on DX cameras. ISO has some connection to exposure. Like a 100mm lens, or a certain lens will have a zoom or a more reach on a crop sensor camera. Cleaning your sensor is dangerous. You have to pay somebody else to clean your sensor. Everybody should learn how to clean their own damn sensor. TTL flash photography. It is douchebag photography. Only necessary for some types of photography. You need to learn how to use a regular speed light, a non-TTL speed light. Some people never need a studio strobe, which is fine, but I mean, at least just learn how to use a regular non-TTL speed light. Anyway, there's that video. I love talking about camera fallacies. It's like, everybody keeps talking about this stuff, and it's not true. It's just not true. Thank you. I'll be heading to Florida tomorrow. Oh, joy. Be down there where it's stinky and hot and everybody's miserable right now after Hurricane Irma. Lucky me! Heading to Florida tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day. Bye. Bye!